In this video, I show you 8 incredible tricks that everyone should know by now, even though almost nobody knows them yet. When you see how easy you can make your life, you'll be amazed. For the first trick, you need some toilet paper and your curtain. You can also do the whole thing with a kitchen roll, more on that in a moment. If we grab the toilet roll now, then we should take an empty one, because this is the best way to do the trick. All you have to do now is remove your curtain from the curtain rail, clamp a toilet roll in between, and then slide the whole thing back over. And always alternate so that you have a toilet roll on the side that disappears behind the curtain. Of course, we don't want the whole thing on the front side. If the toilet roll is already too wide for you, you can also simply take the empty cardboard from a household roll and cut it to size. Of course, you can also cut the toilet roll into several small pieces so that it fits perfectly in the end. But what's the point now? If your curtain normally hangs like mine does now, i.e., it is very unstructured and simply doesn't hang evenly, then the whole thing won't happen to you again with the toilet roll, as you can see here. You can't see them from the outside, but they ensure that the entire curtain hangs in a structured way from top to bottom. But that's not the craziest thing you're about to see. Wait until you see the trick with the toilet seat on your car. But first we'll get to how you can straighten out such kinked cables, because you're probably familiar with this too. You unpack something new and it comes with a charging cable that is usually already kinked, as you can see here. And the kink or kinks are usually not so easy to get out. But there is an ingenious trick for this, and all you need is water, which you should heat to around 60 degrees. Then tip it into a larger bowl. It's important that we get our cable in here. Take it and hang it in the water now. However, it is important that you do not hold these two upper parts, which will eventually go into the socket or into your charger underwater, only the sheathed cable. Keep it in there for a few minutes, usually 30 seconds is enough, depending on the thickness of the cable. If it doesn't stay in the water by itself, you have to push it down with a spoon. This also works with thicker cables. When the time is up, you can take it out and run a cloth over the entire cable. The heat should have softened the plastic sheathing a little. This means you can quickly and easily smooth it out again, and the cable will be perfectly smooth and the kinks will have completely disappeared. But did you know that you can make a conventional painkiller work 10 times faster just by paying attention to one little thing? Before we get to that, I'll show you this little trick to make swallowing the tablet much easier. To do this, you should hold your head downwards instead of upwards, i.e., look at your feet. This actually makes it easier to swallow the tablet. But how quickly it works now depends on what you do immediately after taking the tablet. This is because the painkillers only work when the stomach releases the ingredients into the intestine. And this is exactly what you can influence with the position of your body. If you are standing or sitting, it takes around 23 minutes for this process to be completed. However, if you lie on the left side of your body, it will take up to 100 minutes for the effect to take place. If you lie on the right side of your body instead, it will only take 10 minutes, 10 times faster than on the left side. This is because when you lie on your right side, the interaction of gravity, stomach contraction, and gastric juice concentration results in the steepest angle. This allows the painkiller to reach the duodenum more quickly, ensuring that it works faster. But before we get to the incredible tricks with the lid and the clothespin on the door, I'll show you how you can use a toilet brush on your car. But first you need to prepare it a little. As you can see here, cut them off so that about a third of the handle remains. That's all we need for this trick. Now you should also grab a cordless screwdriver and insert this part here. Simply insert it into the front and fix it as well as you can. It's important to note that this should be a new toilet brush and not the one you've already used. You can now go to your car with it. You should now open the bike door and first take a look at the floor mat. Because if it looks like this or even worse, then you know how difficult it can be to vacuum it properly. Knocking it out is a little better, but it usually doesn't do much good either, as a lot of dirt and sand remains in there in the end. But thanks to the toilet brush, this won't happen to you in future. All you have to do is hold it against the side here and then wipe it over once. As you can see, I've just knocked these out, but there's still a lot of dust and dirt flying off my doormat. In other words, I've just given it a good clean. If you try it, you'll definitely be amazed at how well it can work. And you can put the toilet brush away and simply take it out again whenever you want to use it again. An equally ingenious trick that could help you, especially in emergency situations, is this one with some rice. Because all you need is regular rice. You will also need a sock. Now grab a sock, open it up completely and put a funnel in it. Now you can fill the sock with rice. Simply start filling the sock with rice and keep doing this until at least 2/3 of the sock is filled. 1/3 should remain free at the top so that we can tie a knot at the end. Make sure that the rice slides nicely through the sock and then tie a knot in the top when you have enough rice in here, because now you have a sock like this filled with rice. And what can you do with it? Just put it in the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes, let it run through completely and then take it out. But be careful, it might be a little hot now. And that's exactly the advantage of this sock. Because you can now put it in your bed or on your sofa, for example, take it under the covers and make sure that you get really nice and warm quickly. If you don't have a seat pillow, this is the perfect opportunity to make one yourself. And by the way, if you have a washing machine, then you should definitely throw these things in the washing machine. But first you should put your laundry in here as normal and then simply put a few of these things in the drum and then switch on the washing machine as usual. Now you can run it through completely, because only when the machine is finished will you see the incredible benefits. You can now pull these parts out of your wash. And as you can see here, some hair ends up in these things and sticks to them. You can remove them and use them again and again. However, your laundry will no longer be so full of animal hair, as it will now end up in these things. Incidentally, these things are conventional curlers and you can really use them again and again for your laundry. And one of the most ingenious tricks I've seen so far is the one on these bottles. Because if you know those new lids that hang on the top, then you know how annoying it is when you want to drink and always have it somewhere on your face. Instead, you should open it and, as you can see in my case, pull it upwards over the entire bottle and push it downwards. Because now it should no longer hang in your face when you drink, but simply downwards. And you can simply pull it back over at the end and close the bottle again. But the absolutely most ingenious trick is the one with the clothespin and the rubber band. All you need is a rubber band and a clothespin. Now hang the rubber band through the clothespin as you can see here and go to your door. Because if you open your patio door, hang the rubber band from the inside like this, then open the door, pull the rubber band long and go outside with the clothespin. You can now close the door, turn the clothespin once, and then use it to block the door. This will ensure that it can no longer open on its own. Because if your door no longer closes properly, you can repair it cheaply, and every time you go outside, all you have to do is fix it with this clothespin, and when you want to go back in, you can release it again in seconds. Of course, it would be better to repair the door and invest some money. But if you don't want to or don't have that, then you can help yourself out a little with this method. If you want to learn more ingenious life hacks that almost nobody knows but everyone should know, then click on the video you see on the screen now.